Welcome to my channel Rakshak. Today we will try to comprehend the complications of Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2012 and why it is currently in use. As you are aware of the fact that one of the ministers from the Maharashtra is in judicial custody. His bail was denied by Supreme Court also. So there are alleged irregularities of money laundering on that person. So this issue is in limelight these days. We will try to understand what is basically money laundering. By money laundering, we mean in simple ways how to convert illegal earned money in such a way that it appears as earned from legitimate sources. It is believed that 2 to 5% of global GDP, that is roughly 2 trillion in US dollar, is the money laundering which takes place at the global level. What are the stages of money laundering? Basically, money laundering passes through 3 stages, that is placement, layering, and integration. By placement, I mean to say that the first step is when the funds are raised through illegal means, they are placed in some financial system so that these funds are kept in passive mode for a certain period of time, and then these can be launched into the business. Layering is the second stage of money laundering. In this stage, technique like breaking the money by doing multiple small transactions in the banks by different name occurs. Then launderer usually techniques like wire transaction through electronic fund transfer in offshore bank and purchasing of high value assets like car, bungalow, and diamonds, etc. takes place. Last is the integration stage, that is the reintroduction of this earned money through illegal means into the financial system. Used for buying luxury. It is because of the lack of the documentation and use of loopholes in the law, it becomes very difficult to catch this money. It is basically the layering of the money, which is deep, complex process and not easy to detect. What are the various techniques by which money is laundered? Number one is the Hawala technique, by which money is given from contact A to contact B. In this process also there is no physical transfer of money. It is basically the honor system by word of mouth, by use of the password, that money in Hawala transaction is transferred from A to B. Then shell companies, means bogus companies, keep on operating in disguised manner. These companies take payment without providing goods and services and legitimate transaction with fake invoices and balance sheets. Third party checks can be also issued, which means that we transfer the money to third party, and whenever the money is required, the money can be taken back from him. This money can be laundered in the cryptocurrency. It is a digital currency without any central regulatory authority. Cryptocurrency is now becoming a choice for the criminal activities. Then certain businesses which operate in the cash, like saloons, restaurants, casinos, here also the money is laundered. Salaries can be given to the employees in the cash, and we can conceal the income tax as well as the real source of money too. What are the basic effects and impacts of money laundering? Money laundering is a liability on the financial institutions. It affects the flow of money. It affects the growth rate. And there is reduction in the tax revenue. People start losing interest in the policies of the government. There is lack of ease of doing business. There is always a competition between the legitimate business and the business which is carried out by money laundering. Legitimate business will face tough competition, and due to this tough competition, they may be out of the scene also. What are the social impact of money laundering? It increases unemployment and poverty. It increases the gap in the rich and the poor. It is against the moral and ethical values. It leads to human trafficking too, increases the prostitution in the society. There is instability in the politics and criminalization of the politics too. Then the organized crime, terrorism and nationalism, and cyber crimes are also linked to the money laundering. What are the challenges to tackle money laundering? Number one, it is a global phenomenon, and certain countries like Panama and Mauritius, which are considered as tax havens, they have got weak laws for the money laundering, and money is parked there in the safe havens. Emerging technology like digital technology, electronic fund transfer are also helpful tools for money laundering. Lack of awareness among the people. People generally consider as one of the tax avoidance measures only, but they are unaware of the criminal nexus behind the money laundering. Hence, it increases the volume of money laundering also. Now the question is, what is Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2012? This Money Laundering Act 2012 was basically enacted in 2002, and it was amended thrice in 2005, 2009, and 2012. It provides imprisonment of 3 to 7 years, and it provides fines up to ₹5 lakh. Power of Indian courts are restored over other foreign courts. Enforcement Directorate basically files the prosecution complaints in such cases, and such cases are also tried by the PMLA courts. These PMLA courts are specific session courts which try the accused and bring them to conviction. How far the PMLA Act has been successful? Since its implementation, we have been able to prosecute more than 200 people. What are the problems before the ED? The problems is shortage of staff, number one. Number two, the ED has got police officers and revenue officers, and they require more effort on the part of manpower and technology. What is the effort at the national level to control this money laundering, and from where this term money laundering originated? First of all, we'll be talking about the origin of money laundering, that how money laundering originated. Money laundering is basically associated with the mafia group, and it came into origin in the Watergate scandal in the United States in 1973. The report was published by British newspaper Guardian for contribution of illegal money from Mexico for the electioning process in USA. Gangsters earn huge sums of money by means of extortion, prostitution, gambling, bootlegging, liquor, etc. And then they shift money with the legitimate business or mix their illicit earning with the legitimate earning they receive from these businessmen. At the international level, there is Financial Action Task Force on Money Laundering. It is known as FATF also. It is an intergovernmental organization founded in 1989 on the initiative of the G7. The purpose of the FATF is to develop policies to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. FATF Secretariat is located in Paris. So currently there is non-cooperative countries or territories commonly called as the FATF blacklist. There was a list of 15 jurisdictions on FATF blacklist. This lack of cooperation manifested itself in the unwillingness or inability, and it could provide foreign law enforcement officials with the information relating to bank account and brokerage records. So therefore, even this organization also faces some problems whenever they want to implement the strict control over money laundering. India has its own problem of money laundering. Basically, India is the land which is sandwiched between the golden crescent and golden triangle. By golden crescent, I mean Afghanistan, Iran, and Pakistan. And by golden triangle, I mean Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. So all the drug related money is transferred through these areas. And at one stage, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh were classified as high risk and uncooperative countries at the FATF. According to Indian observers, funds transferred through Hawala market are equal to 30 to 40% of the formal market. According to World Bank, total remittances sent to India through legal formal channels in 2015-16, it amounted to US $69 billion. Of course, India has got its laws to check it. That is the Foreign Exchange Prevention of Smuggling Act 1974, Income Tax Act 1961, Benami Transaction Act 1988. But these acts are not as stringent as they are required to be to check the money laundering. In order to prevent money laundering, we need to have more manpower, stringent laws, and technological advantage because it requires deep study of financial transactions, records, and the system is complex. So therefore, there have been large number of cases of money laundering, but as far as the convictions are concerned, we have got very less number of convictions, and so far none of the convict has been jailed on this account also. This is in nutshell about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is currently in use. And as a student of competitive examination, we must be aware of the fact that what is PMLA 2012. Jai Hind. Thank you.